Hey gang, it's February 9th, 2023, and I've got good news. So have you ever asked yourself, do I make a difference? Does my opinion or contribution ever matter? Well, I think we've all shared that sentiment from time to time. But yesterday, the Federal Election Redistribution Commission dropped their report for how they're going to plan to change the riding shape and structure in British Columbia. And I got a little story that goes along with it because I think they've done something really wise. So maybe you know, but every 10 years with the census, then Elections Canada looks at the numbers and tries to redesign riding shapes and sizes so that there's as much equality, the same number of voters, and the same number of access to the MP as they can get. And so there's some really unique rules that have evolved in Canada over 150 years, and we won't get off into that today. I mean, there's really small ridings with only about 30,000 people in them in Prince Edward Island, and many parts of BC and Ontario have 120,000 people. We'll save that story for another day. Bottom line, they try to do their best to make it so we have representation by population in the House of Commons. And after the 2021 census, BC gets 43 seats. We used to have 42. So the commission had to do a little bit of work. And there's 3 esteemed commissioners who went around the province doing public hearings all last year. And so when they came through the riding of Kootenay, Columbia in Cranbrook in June of 2022, I went over and wanted to listen in and see what was going on. Well, it turned out there was only 3 members of the public at that meeting, and one, bless him, was a former MP, and he had a few wise things to say. And then there was another politically activated guy, a member of the public, and he threw in his opinions. And then they turned to me and said, well, what do you think? And I said, well, hey, folks, my name's Jim. I'm planning on running as an independent candidate in the next federal election. And I look at these riding boundaries and I think, wow, what a big sprawling geography. And I get it, we're a rural riding, and so it has to be bigger than so many others that are more population dense. But the corridor up in the Revelstoke-Golden area along the Trans-Canada Highway is an awful long way from Nelson, and vice versa. So if you were an MP and you lived in the Nelson area, doing a proper job of representing Golden and all that, it would be a challenge. Same would be true in reverse. An MP who lived near Golden would have a long jog to get to Nelson. And I said, it just makes sense to me that Revelstoke-Golden and that Trans-Canada Highway corridor belong flowing down into Salmon Arm, Shuswap, and towards Kamloops. And you know what? Yesterday, in their report, they changed their original proposal. They said, we're persuaded that we should do it that way. And so they did. And I thought, wow. I suppose they might have gotten some written submissions that said similarly, but I was the one participant at a public forum that said, well, what about this, guys? And these 3 esteemed commissioners said, well, yeah, that logic kind of makes sense, and let's go down that path. And I actually think there's a win-win-win there, that they've actually made a new riding proposal. So what used to be Kootenay, Columbia would now be Columbia, Kootenay, Southern Rockies. And they brought it down to where we're just a little bit more geographically dense, fit into that southeast corner of the province. And I think they've done a lot of wise things there. So, I reflect on that. It might seem like a small thing, and I love Revelstoke and Golden as much as the next guy, but I think they're in a better riding now for them with the new report that's been issued. And I think it makes a lot more sense the way they've structured our new riding. If you're interested, you can go on the website, go into the Elections Canada zone and check it out. There's still a few more hoops they got to jump through. And this wouldn't apply for an election that was held before 2024. But in the spring of 2024, these new riding boundaries would potentially come into effect. So the story is just there to say, hey, get involved, do something. Say 2 cents, have a solid take, and try to do a little persuasion. It gives me some wind in my sails for the rest of the campaign. So if you're like-minded, jump on board. Do please check out my website, jimwadrick.ca, and I'd love to hear what you think about all these new proposals. Thanks.